It's been more than a month since NASCAR issued fines to the drivers. Kyle Busch has now spoken his voice in support of one of the drivers most affected, Denny Hamlin. Kyle Busch recently stated that he would like more clarification on NASCAR rules. He intends to solve the aggressive movements on the track that have hurt drivers like Denny Hamlin on several occasions with one simple suggestion. So, how well will this work? And what happens next? Stay tuned to find out. But before that, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button for more whereabouts on NASCAR. As a result of Denny Hamlin's unsuccessful appeal of his punishment, ongoing conversations are taking place over the NASCAR rulebook. Now that he's weighed in on the matter, Kyle Busch is looking for clarification on what exactly is permitted. During a press conference held on April 8th, Busch expressed his thoughts on the NASCAR rulebook as well as the appeal filed by Hamlin. According to him, the rulebook is full of inconsistencies, and the drivers have no idea whether making touch with each other is a violation that carries a punishment or only a fine. Busch asked, "Well, I think where Denny and I agree on a lot with each other is, if we're supposed to be self-policing and have the opportunity to be able to be out there to do something if someone did something to us, and for us to be able to go back and retaliate, how are we supposed to do that? Explain to me what is and is not acceptable." It would appear that uttering those words 2 days after the event is inappropriate. It is acceptable to say it immediately after the event when you're still hot and bothered. Joey Logano did not get a penalty for making intentional contact with William Byron at Darlington Raceway in 2023. However, Denny Hamlin was penalized for making purposeful contact with Ross Chastain at Phoenix Raceway. These are only two of the examples that have come up in recent discussions. There are many more. Busch offered one suggestion in response to the aggressive moves that were being made. There have been several arguments regarding the way in which the levels of violence that may be found on road courses and other tracks can be reduced. Some drivers have expressed their support for single-file restarts in the hopes that it will assist in spreading out the field before turning one. Busch offered a further suggestion. He said that the local short-track racing series could serve as a model for NASCAR to follow in the future. In the event that there is an incident on the track, the vehicles involved will be moved to the back of the field. The person who caused the spin would be forced to take a step back, and the person who caused the spin for another person would also be required to take a step back. Busch said, "You want to bring up an example from COTA. You had the number 1 get into the number 48, and then they went all the way up to number 99. The question then is, who do you deduct points from between positions 48 and 1? They are all. Everyone who's involved in the caution should move to the rear of the line. That's how we do it with the kids racing at 7 years old. So if we could teach 7 and 8-year-olds that's not how you're supposed to do it and you need to race clean, we should be able to teach 18 or 19-year-olds, Harvick's 46 or 47. We ought to be able to figure out what's going on." This is because appeals have affected Hamlin several times. On April 8th, Hamlin spoke on a number of issues, one of which was the importance of clarity. He spoke with members of the media and answered their questions concerning his unsuccessful appeal, as well as the procedure that was used to present his case. Hamlin took use of the chance to convey his dissatisfaction and uncertainty with the appeals panel's refutation of the data that he presented about the encounter that he had with Chastain. He referred to it as a bitter pill to swallow, despite being confronted with comparisons to previous occurrence. Several appeals have been submitted in response to occurrences that included Hamlin's number 11. The most recent of his interactions with Chastain took place at Phoenix Raceway. Another occurred when the 2022 Cup Series playoffs were still going on. NASCAR gave William Byron a penalty after he hit Hamlin on purpose during a caution and sent him spinning at Texas Motor Speedway in September. The sanctioning body penalized him with a fine of $50,000 and deducted 25 driver points and 25 owner points from the number 24 team. After the race was over, Byron gave an interview to NBC Sports in which he claimed that he had hit Hamlin on purpose because the driver of the number 11 car had pressed him up against the wall. He said that he had no intention of throwing him off balance. Hendrick Motorsports filed an appeal and was granted a portion of the victory. The appeals panel reinstated all 25 points that had been deducted from the drivers' and owners' records, which were the only points that had any significance. But it also doubled the fine from $50,000 to $100,000. That's why I kinda said at the end of the Actions Detrimental podcast, I still don't understand the ruling. Considering all of the examples, all of the precedent, and even the real data that I brought to the table, Hamlin told media members on April 8th. The most disappointing aspect is the fact that it still does not make any sense. What are your thoughts on the suggestions that Kyle Busch gave? Tell us in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click the bell button for more updates. Before that, Hamlin tried to use Chase Elliott's example to win his appeal. While Kyle Busch and Joey Logano have a unique rivalry, Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott have regularly stoked the flames. However, Hamlin went too far this time to save himself, crucifying the Hendrick Motorsports driver in the process. It all began in 2017 when Elliott was on his way to his first NASCAR Cup Series victory at Martinsville. The Joe Gibbs Racing driver, on the other hand, had other ideas. He ran into the 22-year-old driver, sending him into the wall. Busch eventually won that race, and a new rivalry was established. With Hamlin's recent statements, it doesn't appear that the rivalry is going away anytime soon. Here's how Denny Hamlin took a huge shot at Chase Elliott in order to save himself from a $50,000 disaster. In the episode of Action's Detrimental podcast, Hamlin recounted how he attempted to present his case to the panel. He stated, "It was a collision, not a collision or simplistic. That's what I'm disputing. And it is most emphatically not a race manipulation, and I know that because I offered numerous examples of what race manipulation is." The three-time Daytona 500 winner went deep to prove his point. Interestingly, despite anticipating the backlash, he used Chase Elliott's reference. He said, "I don't want to upset anyone here who might be a fan, but I'm sorry. Chase Elliott asking where the number 5 car is so he can help him out by coming back onto the racetrack at Bristol when he had several laps behind is race manipulation." So, when did Chase Elliott try to influence the outcome of a race? This takes us back to the 2021 race in Bristol, when Elliott and Kevin Harvick crashed into each other. The driver, who was born in Georgia, returned to the track after having to make a pit stop due to a flat left front tire. He hit Harvick on the left side at that point. After that, Elliott kept his car in front of the Stewart-Haas racing car for the rest of the race, which let Kyle Larson win. In the end, Larson was victorious in the Cup Series race and took home the championship for that season. Hamlin referred to this incident as a point of reference when he stated he, Elliott, blocked the number 4 car, Harvick, to allow his teammate to win. He went to a conference in January where they emphasized that we consider something to be race manipulation if it directly benefits either the person doing the manipulating or a teammate, and if the person doing the manipulating is able to influence the outcome of the race. I think they put that in the rules because of that thing. Clearly, the 2311 Racing co-owner is upset that he is being accused of manipulating. After his unsuccessful appeal, NASCAR surprised everyone by taking a surprising action, which angered him even more. The bombshell was thrown on Hamlin by NASCAR while the appeals process was already in progress. The governing body announced a regulation adjustment that altered the strategic nature of the appeal made by the driver who was born in Florida. The modification to the rules stated that if a penalty is lawful, the appeals penalty is not allowed to cancel all of the reductions in its entirety. In addition, there must be a minimum and maximum range in which reductions are permitted in order to function properly. The JGR driver's anger was completely warranted in light of this development. So that's all we've got for today. We hope you enjoyed it. Tell us what you think of the video in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in the upcoming video.